Hey yo, good dog back again. Once again, let's lock in. Shout out to the IPA, International Passport Association and affiliates, man. Appreciate y'all locking in. Not gonna waste your time. Time to go ahead and get into it, all right? Again, been away for a little bit, but we're gonna try to get back into the groove of things, right? Here are the Good Doc's 3 rules, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to busting down a Filipina. Now, do not, in any circumstances, take the term busting down in a negative light, right? Just what I wanted to write for the title of the video. If you listen to the video, you'll understand where I'm coming from, or at least be able to pick up what the Good Doc is putting down, right? Now, your man's a married man, been out the game for quite a long time, right? But I still think that the rules that I applied back in the day, even today, being married, if you want to include it in that, still apply. And again, I do believe this will be helpful for you guys when it comes to how you deal with women overseas, right? Not necessarily just Filipinas. Let me preface this by saying, these are my rules, right? Mine. They belong to me. I'm not saying that you have to follow it. I'm not saying that these rules are the same rules that you gotta abide by or the rules that you use for yourself. I'm just saying that this is what has worked for me in the past. I do believe that it will work for you. There are 3 in particular. The last one, definitely controversial, but we'll get to that in a minute. All right, but rule number 1, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to busting down a Filipina is keep it on the low, keep it quiet, right? Keep it on the low, keep it quiet. Now, if you got a couple of close friends, somebody you rock with, somebody who knows how to, a confidant or somebody who you can talk to and share information with in confidence, holla at them. Talk to them, share with your experience, man. Tell me you had a good time. Tell them what it was like, all that shit. But the one thing you need not do, because these are the do's and don'ts in the situation, don't run to the internet, okay? Do not run to the internet and talk about, share your experiences, post pictures and all of that shit, because it's not a good look, right? I know what it is with a lot of guys when it comes to the women that they talk to or the women that they've successfully hooked up with and all that stuff. A lot of guys want to run to the internet, talk about it, make YouTube videos about it and share it with everybody. I don't know if they're looking for a pat on the back, the praise or whatever, but you run to the internet and it becomes this big thing, and you've ruined the reputation of this particular young lady, whatever it may be, even if she was used to being promiscuous or she's liberated or free or whatever you want to call it, even if that was her energy, now you just put that in the foreground for everybody to see. And that's not a good look for me. So for me, I say y'all got to keep it quiet, keep it on the low. Don't run to the internet. You can talk to a friend about it, but do not run to the internet. Do not run to YouTube. Do not run to Instagram. Do not show, yeah, man, look at this girl I hooked up with, man. She's so beautiful, this, and she let me smash and all this stuff. Because you don't understand how reputations are built in the Philippines, right? In my previous video, I talked about why you couldn't necessarily bet a Filipino or why this woman's not necessarily going back to your hotel room with you and things like that. That's the thing. Reputation means everything to these people. In general sense, in Asian countries in general, reputation is everything. Family name is everything. And people hurt themselves over bringing dishonor and disgrace to the family. So when I say keep it on the low, keep it on the low, right? Number 2, my all-time favorite is you gotta be not disrespectful. You gotta be respectful, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta be respectful. If a young lady trusts you enough to share an experience with you, lay up with you and stuff like that, be respectful about it. Don't just hook up with her and then try to kick her ass out or some shit like that. Because I know a lot of guys do that. I don't know, with all due respect, I'm not targeting a specific community, but I don't know if this is like a red pill thing or anything like that where we just fucking get rid of them type shit. I don't know where that energy comes from, but you shouldn't do that, right? If a young lady trusts you enough to lay up with you and you ain't pay for it type shit, when I say pay for it, I mean, transactional type ish, whatever, then you got to handle the situation a little bit differently. I'm not saying that you got to be cuddle up and all that stuff, but don't just get up, get dressed, and kick ass out. Like that shit, that energy is just different, right? And if you conduct yourself in that type of manner, if she feels used and abused as a result of you doing all the, doing that, and that's the energy that you came in with, and you're kind of being disrespectful about it, who knows the type of shit that she could say about you? Oh, he just used me, and he just had sex with me, and he just got up and left, and all that stuff. I ain't saying you gotta lay around all goddamn night, but I'm just saying, be respectful about the situation, right? There's a decorum. There's a way of handling the situation. I can't really go into the details of it, but I would hope you would at least be able to understand where I'm coming from when I talk about being respectful, about how you choose to address the young lady that you bedded or chose to sleep with or whatever, right? There's a way of going about it, right? And the decorum is different for everybody, but for me, I'm like, look, we cool, we chilling, we laid up, we whatever. I can't just get up and kick her out, because now she's just gonna feel like this was what it was all about. Even if you let it be known that way, a lot of girls will say they're okay with it, but when the actual situation happens and she gets up and go, you're like, damn, that's crazy. And as a guy, maybe y'all don't feel this, maybe y'all could care less, but imagine if a girl just lets you smash, you chilling and shit, and she get up and just bounce, right? I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but like I said, in situations like that, I'm like, how would, you think about how the young lady would like to be treated, right? Because even though this modern era is a little different, I still think that, there's a level of respect that must be had, right? That's just me. Maybe y'all different. That's why I said these are my rules. Y'all handle it how y'all want to, but this is how the good dot rocks. All right, number 3, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna lie, this one is probably very controversial to some. Me, not so controversial. Y'all may be a little bit controversial, right? Me, this is a 2-parter, right? So you're actually getting 3 and 4, but this is a 2-parter that kind of floats within the same realm, right? The first part of this, so we'll say 3A, is feed her first, right? I'm a guy. I've been around Filipinas a lot of them. Been around a lot of them. One thing that I noticed is Filipinas are more acquiescent to your whims when they're not hungry. AKA, they are more friendly, more open when you feed them, okay? Because maybe you don't notice this, maybe you do. If you ever go on a date with a Filipino, or you link up with a Filipino, or you talk to a Filipino, or you get together with a Filipina, 9 times out of 10, she didn't eat before she came to you. I don't know if she thinks that you're automatically going to feed her, but the majority of the time, they don't eat until they get with the person they're supposed to meet. So if they set up a meeting for that day, whatever time you're supposed to meet, they may grab a merienda, a little snack, depending on the time, just to make sure they're good. But most of the time, they don't eat until they get with you, most of the time, because I guess they might be under the assumption that you're going to feed them. So imagine if they get with you or come around you and you don't feed them. Now the girl's hungry, she's hangry. I don't know what it's like. I don't know if you know what it's like to be hungry, but she can make you very, very anal retentive if you're hungry and shit like that. So I kind of think from a young lady's perspective, you know what I'm saying, how much of the positive energy are you going to get if the young lady's hungry when y'all trying to link up and you ain't fed her? So part 3A is make sure you feed her first, because I can almost guarantee that once you feed her, she's a little bit more open. Feel me? But part 3B, give her something when she leaves. This is where the controversy comes in. Me, I'm going to make sure that I offer you the funds, the fare, whatever it needs for you to go home. Whether you take it or not, I am offering it to you. Now, when I offer it to you, it's not going to be as if this was transactional, as in if I'm paying for the act of, or I'm paying for your company or paying for you to leave. That's not the energy. I'm the type of guy that says, baby girl, here's 500. I just want to make sure you got fare to go home. That's what I'll tell them. I'm like, I just want to make sure you got fare to go home or some shit. And, if you want to grab something to eat when you leave, since, we can't eat together, this is so that you can take care of that. That's how I phrase it. 100% of the time, that's how I would phrase it, right? I want to make sure you're good. I want to make sure that you get home. You can take a taxi, you can take a Jeep, I don't care. I just want to make sure that you got fare to go home, since I can't personally take you home. I want to make sure that you got money for food just in case you want to eat later, since I can't personally pay for the food. This is me taking care of that. That's how I phrase it. That way it doesn't seem transactional, but it doesn't seem as though you're trying to get rid of her, but she got a little money in her pocket and she spends the money how she wants to. You say, I'm giving it to you for X, Y, and Z. Whatever you spend it on, I don't give a fuck. This 500, whatever it is, whatever you give, I say 500. I think it's fair. That's what that's for, right? If you give $1,000, excuse me, still at the day job. But if I'm gonna give you bread, I'm gonna give it to you and let you know what I'm giving it to you for. Whether you spend it on that or not, that's not me. That's not up to me. Because I understand that you don't need 500 pesos to catch a Jeep home, right? I understand that, right? I understand, the amount of money that I'm giving you is probably in excess to what you actually need for what I'm giving it to you for, right? You're probably not eating 500 pesos worth of food, and you're probably not using 500 pesos worth of transportation, right? Just as an example, I know this. But in my mind, if you feel as though I'm doing this just to make sure that you're safe and you're taken care of, you understand the vibe that women get when they feel like you're looking out for them in their best interest. Not just here's 500, go ahead and get out or some shit. It's the way you phrase it and the energy that you put into it. Maybe y'all don't understand this, but a real one knows, man. There's different ways of phrasing and how you handle situations with certain women. And I do believe that if you about to bust down, or you feel like busting down, or you successfully busted down, young lady overseas, this is the decorum that you have to have. Number one, got to be respectful. Don't run. No, I'm sorry, that's number two. But number one, don't share it with everybody. Keep quiet about it, man. Don't run to the internet. Number two, you got to be respectful, right? Transactional or not, however the situation plays out, don't bust them down and kick them out. That's just not a good look for me, right? As a foreigner in a foreign country, busting them down and kicking them out and making them feel away, you don't want that type of negative energy around you. Trust me when I tell you, you do not want any young lady in these foreign countries to harness that negative energy towards you. You have been warned. I'm going to tell you that, right? And number three, my all-time favorite, 3A, feed her first. She's more open to suggestions and ideas, right? If you feed her first. And 3B, give her a little bit of bread to go home with, man. Whether she uses it for whatever it is you told her that it's for, is up to her. Bahalaka. It's up to you how you use it. But I do believe that in my heart of hearts, y'all, you play with these rules right here. I do believe that you will successfully be able to have a great time overseas, a great time dealing with young ladies overseas, and a great time in general. Just, getting to know a different culture, getting to know a young lady, however you choose to handle those situations, and a successful bust down. It sounds horrible when you say it like that, but hey, man, I had to get you to watch the video, right? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time, effort, and energy. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe. This has been a good dot, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out.